It's a Paris Chong Show. It's a Paris Chong Show. It's the Paris Chong Show. Hi, everybody. I'm Paris Chong, and this is the Paris Chong Show, and I'm here with Billy Zane.
Hey, Paris.
My very first guest, and hopefully not my last.
Your
Disco wants to
your
sit with
oldest
Billy.
friend and your first
Yes,
guest. It only makes sense.
exactly.
And
It's all good.
I
And
wouldn't
then-
do it without your little dog, too.
I don't know. Well, actually, technically, Disco was the first guest, but I like that he's sitting next to you. He's very picky about who he likes.
I'm
so
flattered.
thank you for coming. I know you're a very busy man. Billy did a show at Leica several years ago, and till this date, it was one of the busiest shows that we ever had. We actually had to tell people to stay away from the walls and not knock the photos off the walls. It was that busy.
What did we clock? How many people in that
Over
beautiful...
1,000. Oh, not really. We're not supposed to say that. Oh, I don't know. A lot of people, about 1,000.
It's a beautiful
So
space.
I wanted to tell people that you're doing a show. It's coming up May 12th in the south of France.
Correct.
In Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat. I don't speak French, and my name's Paris.
Quite right. A beautiful port town, marina, celebrated through the years for its support of the arts, from painters like Picasso to filmmakers like Hitchcock, and it's just an incredibly beautiful and inspiring location.
Well, it looks gorgeous from the photos, and they're celebrating their
120th
anniversary.
anniversary of, I guess, its current.
That's amazing. You'd think it'd be
status.
older, right? in
It
the
is.
south of
That's what I was
France?
trying to figure out. I was like, 120 years of what? And I can only imagine its current status.
Yeah.
As a municipality under this, particular auspice.
Well, Julian Lennon lives nearby, so he's coming.
He does.
I invited a cool guest for you.
I
and a fellow
actually
art lover.
sold a painting in a villa right below his property, like literally under his balcony, in a villa that was being staged with art. And my dear friend Natasha Girardi who lives in Cap Ferrat, is a wonderful art historian and art consultant, usually for Masterworks, one of the best out there. And she had arranged to put this quite large piece I had done, which was more impressionist than my usual abstraction, but it was a seascape that touched upon that particular blue that the sea has when you go to Nice on the Croisette, this very interesting, almost pastel-y blue. But I had done a very large seascape, and it sold to a gentleman who I have to keep his identity private, but I believe he won the Palme d'Or that year. And that was always cool. So I have an interesting history with the location, and there's one of the more famous beaches on the Riviera. It's called Paloma, and you can get a lovely lunch down there. And it's you approach from above and go down these steps. Recently made quite famous, is now a big selfie spot with Emily in Paris. Apparently, I was told had done an episode there. Now everyone flocks there to take a picture, for better for worse. But I had secured an art locker in their linen closet behind the bar
Okay.
by storing paint.
That's
and
good.
Yeah, it is cool. So I paint outside, as you know.
I know. I don't know if you're not familiar with Billy Zane's paintings. They're quite lovely, and you have an interesting process when you paint on set, don't you?
I do. I don't bring anything with me anywhere, really. I like using found objects and upcycling from things that would normally be bound for the dump, or the tip, and kind of keeping them from going into landfill. So I like working with old umbrellas are my new favorite, because I work on large scale. So beach umbrellas and things that might have been stained or ripped or tired. It's canvas as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's
I work
good.
on the ground anyway, so. And they're pretty cool. And
You're
I like
the
the
elegant
stitching.
recycler.
Yeah, I'm an upcycler. Garbage to gold. It's new alchemy.
I love that. So now, how did this? Now it's going to be May 12th at the Neptune Gallery, and you're showing with another painter.
Diane Detal,
Yes.
wonderful French-American painter. But I think she's probably fully French, but she lives in New York and in Cap d'Antibes. And she's a wonderful abstractionist. And it was put together by Rachel de Vancelette, who's a preeminent consultant I've collaborated with, who I absolutely adore. We've done a couple shows together. she put me with the Wall Gallery, where I've worked in Miami, and we did art fair this last year, and we're now doing the Telluride during the Telluride Film Festival in September.
Nice.
I have a show there, a joint show.
You're a busy guy. I see that you've been doing so many openings. So are these do people approach you? Are these all people you've been working with forever?
I leave it. It's funny. It's like I don't push. I have a show up currently. We just opened at the Red Lion Inn in the Berkshires.
Oh, wow.
In Stockbridge, which is this incredible facility, a hotel from 1773. That's housed the work, which is great.
I know that looked really cool, and I loved your show at the Four Seasons. That
was
lovely.
cool. That
Very
was
cool.
I was an artist in residence there that they just kept extending at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills, and they had not done anything quite like that before, and it became a kind of a conversation piece, and I think it definitely positively impacted foot traffic because it was just a cooler vibe. It was weird.
Yeah.
Art everywhere. I encourage it.
So are you working more on your artwork right now and less on acting?
No,
or are you
they collide in such an interesting way. I mean, to your point earlier about staying busy and somehow keeping that organic, the work is, I do it for myself. You know? It's singular expression is almost an antidote to art by committee, which is what filmmaking is really, right? You're working with hundreds of people and sometimes more. And it's just a way to, if you have, inexhaustible creativity, it's a way to keep it going, but it balances. And it's a form of improvisation, as is the acting, as is filmmaking, because you're always dealing with being blindsided by a variety of variables.
Well, speaking of acting, I saw you look remarkably like Brando.
You saw some of those photos. Yeah. We one of my favorite locations to paint on was in fact his island in Tahiti in Tetiaroa, which is the location and almost the subject of the film we are just in the mix of. We're just completed.
I love that.
We finished shooting and now we're I think going to go market in Cannes.
I love that. When you showed me that photo, I was like, "Oh, I love Brando," and you said, "No, that's me." I know it's not. You're like, "Yeah, it is." He looks like Brando, guys. He looks just like him.
I was at dinner with his daughter Rebecca, maybe
Rebecca.
4 nights. She's lovely. We were just speaking on the. I'm going to see her today.
Oh, tell her I said hi.
I shall. We were at dinner and I showed her the photos from the shoot, and she said, "Is that my dad or you?" And if that's not,
it's amazing.
If that's not,
look like
it was
him.
Great makeup as well.
You look like him. And now I know.
So the film is called Waltzing with Brando.
Okay.
It's about Marlon as an activist. Just to
I'm glad.
give it context. It's not a cradle to grave biopic. It deals with him. The work he did, which was so familiar, and really defined him via his real life's passion,
right?
While being a great communicator and a great storyteller. It seems like he wisely used that unique ability and the access his fame afforded to really push the needle on civil rights and indigenous rights, and in the little known fact that he was very passionate, if not one of the kind of the earliest. I wouldn't even say adopters. He was almost the point of the spear of environmental activism in like 1969, when no one was really talking about this stuff. So he had spearheaded sustainable design with the help of Bernard Judge, who was a young architect who came out of Buckminster Fuller School in LA doing geodesic domes and really great experimental work. He had met him in Tahiti and got him to, ensnared him in his conspiracy of realizing what the future of sustainable design, meaning closed loop, zero carbon footprint construction would look like on his island he had purchased. How to get power and water to this island without using fossil fuels was, a charge that no one had really kind of taken on.
So do you feel like you learned a whole lot about him that you didn't know?
It's incredible. The hotel, he succeeded. Mm-hmm. Today, it's the site of the Brando Hotel, arguably the most environmentally conscious location on the planet. Mm-hmm. Richard Bailey is the current, has been the developer who finished the realization of this dream. And it is the back of house of this resort, which they encourage guests to visit and tour, on how they turn recycled glass into white sand, and high-speed composting, and something called SWAC, which is saltwater air conditioning, bringing cold temperature off of the reef through PVC pipes up into the cooling systems of not just the villas but the workers' housing without using diesel. Like crazy cool stuff.
That is cool.
The movie is a charming and funny story about this imperfect science at the time, and a buddy movie, basically.
So you said it's finished now? Now
we're
you're
done.
Shopping. Okay, there's a Billy Zane movie out there being shot
it's
right
coming,
now.
It's coming. No, we shot it. We shot
coming.
it. We're cutting. We're now just finishing the mix. Look for Waltzing with Brando.
Yay! And okay, don't kill me, but I have to ask one Titanic question.
Go ahead.
So if you could work with anybody from that ensemble again, who would it be?
From the cast?
Mm-hmm.
They're all so lovely. I mean, I had such a great time.
Everyone was lovely?
Everyone was really cool.
There wasn't one a-hole?
No.
No?
No. Like, awesome. But
if you had to
Johnny Hyde, who played Ismay, was my, partner in crime.
Yeah.
The villains, or he was just hysterical. Like, we had a great luck. Frances, I absolutely adore. Kate and Leo were nothing but charming. Darling, they were kids at the time.
I always laugh because I know you so well, and I know what a huge gentleman you are. And that scene where Cal had to jump when he jumped into the boat when it was only supposed to be women and children.
You mean when I saved that child's life?
Were you just cringing that you had to do that, or were you just
no?
You're playing a guy that does that.
So smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to save the kid.
Everybody's mad about how Leo was float. There was enough room on that piece of wood.
You really went there. We went to the boat. In this interview, it's like Good Morning America. You got to talk about the door.
That was awful.
I see great success for your show because you're chipping away at the absolute logical corporate talk point. So.
Okay, well, thank you. No, but you know what? We pulled a quote of yours off the internet today. Neil pulled something off of yours, and I don't know if you noticed it when you came in, but it says, "A wig is a wig is a wig." So what is that from?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I didn't say
Neil.
A wig
He
is a
doesn't
wig is a
even
wig.
know what that is. Apparently, you said it, but I thought it was funny. So
What does it even
and
mean?
you said so many other great things
I
too.
can't
but
disagree.
Yeah.
one of our favorite mottos at a lab we work with is process is product. That's one of my favorites.
Process is product.
Yeah,
I like it.
Like what you're doing right now.
That's right.
Turn the cameras on.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to help promote the arts and what everyone's doing, and I do it all the time anyway. So I thought, why not? I thought being on a podcast might be kind of fun.
Listen, more to the point. Who cares about everything we're finding out? You can find out on the internet.
Yeah.
What we need to know is about you and this show. Congratulations,
Thank
Paris,
you.
on your maiden voyage.
Thank you.
This is really exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
No, you've been an impresario. You've housed and platformed some of LA's greatest artists, and it's only makes sense that you should take point, dip into your Rolodex and bring to light the finer currents and points of all of the artists that you know,
That's so
and
cool
really
for you
share
to
that.
Say that. Let's turn that part up.
No, it makes so much sense that you should take
Billy.
this position.
I know, it's fun. It's fun. I used to do radio for K-Jazz a long time ago, and I remember just loving to talk to people and getting things out of them. I do this all day long at the gallery.
Right.
So I thought maybe it'd be fun for people to get an inside scoop of what I talk about with different artists. And I love your coffee cup, by the way. Well, we don't know where we got that from, but we like it.
No
and it's
idea.
very cool. How is the coffee?
It's delicious.
Okay.
It's gone a little cold because it's been more of like a balancing prop, and I realized I should have taken a sip and shut up for 5
That's okay.
seconds.
I'm so happy that you're here. And then I also wanted to tell you that I don't think I ever got to tell you, but I was so happy you were involved in My Face is a Leica project downtown. I loved that show, and I loved that project. I'm very proud of it.
I love shooting Leica.
Yeah, and your photo that Per Bernal took was just stunning. But I didn't know you were such a great dancer.
We'd cut a rug. We cut a rug, kid.
I was like, wow, Billy can dance. I thought he must have been trained for a movie role to know how to do this stuff, because I'm a pretty good dancer and I didn't even know how to do all this
Let's
stuff.
just say movies offer just a cocktail knowledge of many skills.
Yeah.
I can almost perform an appendectomy.
Oh.
I can almost dance.
Yeah. No,
I
you
can
dance.
almost,
Sing?
defend you in
Can
court.
you sing? Oh, you can almost, yeah, you played a lawyer.
I can almost land a plane.
Oh.
And it's good to know a little bit about a lot, because you
Yeah.
never know when you're going to have to, defend you in court or land a plane, or maybe at the same time.
And it's cool. You're kind of like Tom. I bet Tom Cruise is like that too. That he does so much stuff, right? So you can actually learn how to do it.
Tom Cruise does my own stunts.
Oh, he does. Okay, good. Now, can I ask you what your favorite movie role was?
I like The Phantom.
Oh, that's the funny one, right? I like that
The
one.
funny one.
The funny one.
Secretly, they're all funny ones, but that's no longer a secret.
That's
the key
funny.
is to make them all like comedies.
Yeah.
Even the most dramatic and horrific.
Yeah.
Because it's a fine line between those two things. But The Phantom was a departure from the current trend of dark and edgy when it was made. And I love, nostalgia, and I was a bit of a purist when it came to my white hat heroes. And I just thought, I like this character because he was super humane, not superhuman, and dug his job. I was like, happy, well-adjusted hero, animal friends, has a cave, has a girlfriend. He's like, your dog's a wolf. He's like, I know, the job rocks. And I just thought that was, they allowed me to infuse what I picked up from the comic, It was this joy that you'd see in the kind of the enthusiasm that Errol Flynn had in his swashbuckling. There's almost all nearly a smile breaking, or Gene Kelly for that matter. There's just a love of being a man and do-gooding and using at the peak of your performance and prowess, and it was just a great character. I liked what he stood for.
Yeah.
And he never killed. He disarmed, and that was also important at a time when the anti-hero was on the rise and the darker heroics or darker actions were seemingly justified in the name of heroism. And I just thought, lest we forget, there's a code, there's a line. Let's not cross it.
So do you feel fulfilled that you got to play everybody you wanted to play? And now you've got Brando coming up?
There's a couple more, coming up the pipe.
Yeah?
I mean,
oh, good.
That's been fun. I just directed my first feature, which was a lot of fun. I had secretly done that 18 years ago as well, but the project was kind of held up in French courts, which we're now, I think, able to release and uncork like a bottle of wine. That'll be interesting to see. But I had just done this on a project that I ended up kind of stepping into last minute and turning whatever deficits were there into greater assets and really experimenting. So as an artist, it was definitely an art film, but commercial and funny. We ended up breaking the fourth wall and showing the crew and the making of in the process. And it's this existentialist kind of black comedy, not that black, just comedy, set behind the scenes of a flawed movie, like a B-movie set. So it's a bit like Truffaut, Day for Night, and a bit of Fellini, 8.5, like through the lens and mind of a director, dealing with the concepts of infidelity and going through the spectrum of reactions from, murderous thoughts to acceptance, and ultimately putting the love and love triangle and kind of rolling with it. It's a very interesting take on it.
And where can we see that?
With this one we have finished, and we're going to be going to Cannes with, and we're it won already a couple awards and festivals in Europe. It won
wow.
It's called Interior Hallway Night, which we've renamed it, which was a kind of a script header.
Interior Hallway Night.
Hallway Night, which is a script header because so many scenes are shot in the damn hallway. It's kind of a running joke in the movie. Not in the hallway again. And so I renamed it Hallway Night. And
that sounds cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely an unapologetic, very kind of dry. It's like a Buñuel movie meets, I don't know, the droll American comedy of
Well, I think
Curb
we
Your
all
Enthusiasm
want to
or
see
something.
more Billy Zane.
You
so
will
we're
this year.
looking forward to that.
There's that, and then I just did this really neat a Lifetime movie, which I loved because it was of a very kind of fairly dark and bizarre subject, but I like the fact that it will have the restraint of the censorship afforded their films, because had it been maybe on a streamer, that would have been a little more exploitive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is, there's a lot of unnecessary frontal nudity in a lot of programming out there, and a lot of unnecessary violence just because they can. So in this case, it's really great that the guardrails are on and we can go deeper into character. So I really liked working for that platform because of that, and the talent in the group. Elizabeth Rome directed, beautiful story. She started with a podcast on called Devil in the Dorm that you can see about a very interesting character, true story, named Larry Ray, who came out of prison for fraud and moved into his daughter's dorm in Sarah Lawrence, and became a bit of a cult leader, kind of jacked up on
I'm surprised how much
and
frontal nudity is going on now.
well, there's none in that show. I'm happy to say.
Okay.
Just but
Well,
a very
it
interesting character study. But look for that one on Lifetime coming out maybe even in July.
Lifetime's putting out some good stuff.
They are.
Yeah, don't you think? I think they used to be kind of like
I know.
like a Hallmark channel, but now they're really picking it up.
One of my favorite movies was for Hallmark. I like those platforms. I did Cleopatra back in the day for
That was Hallmark?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was the show you did
And
at Leica.
and Halmy, the founder, was Hemingway's personal photographer in Africa. He was a great Robert
God,
Halmy.
I had no idea.
Cool guy. Great family.
There was some good photos from that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was our show.
That was the show.
The show we shot at Leica was my behind the scenes of
Cleopatra.
I
think you said you ended up dating the leading lady after
we
that.
we more than dated.
Yeah. Well,
Leonor Varela, wonderful actress.
Gorgeous lady.
Yeah, she's I think she's doing like Chile's Got Talent right now. I saw on her Instagram.
Wow.
She's judging, looking fabulous. She's a wonderful actor. She was in quite a few movies. Look her up. She's awesome.
So, are you still shooting now? Are you still taking lots of photos, or are you
photos? Yeah, heck yeah.
Painting.
No, both.
Both.
I'm enjoying working with some vintage cameras, old Leicas.
Yeah, they're hot right now. Film's hot right now, but everyone's complaining about how expensive the film is, I guess. But well, we want to have you back, so maybe whatever you're shooting now, we'll show in. We'll talk about getting you back in there. And then I'll have to tell people, get off of the walls. Don't knock the paintings off the walls. Get off of the walls.
We'll pack them in.
Because it's so crowded, yeah.
You'll police them, won't you,
and
disco?
we actually sold a painting for you that night. And at first, we weren't, Leica didn't want to really show paintings because it's a photography space, which makes sense. But I said, I really want to do this. He also does paintings. I like mixing up art. I love all art.
That's a testament to
and
you.
And that was the first thing that got sold was the painting.
Paris, you were brilliant for doing that. Yeah, I know, right?
It was.
Well, because you stirred it up. And you're an out-of-the-box thinker, which is why you should be given just much more rope and space and platform and wall space to invent and create. And I think, you're doing really great stuff for both brand, sponsor, community, artist. You tick the boxes on all of it, kid. So
thank you so much.
Keep it up,
Billy.
and congratulations on your Maiden Voyage and first show.
Thank you.
Round of applause. Yay. I can hear it all
Meet
out
the tambourine. There. So thank you so much for being here, Billy Zane. Thank you, Disco, for being a good boy and not doing anything embarrassing to embarrass Mama.
Just a little shedding.
And thank you for listening, watching, and you can find out more information on parischong.com. On the parisshow.com. That's right.
Or BillyZaneArt.com.
Or BillyZaneArt.com.
Or at Billy Zane on Instagram if you like that sort of thing.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a wrap. It's a Paris Chong Show. It's a Paris Chong Show.